Oh yeah, here we go again. We can't let it die. It has to survive, y'all. You need to come out. Support what's left of it. House. Remember the days. Remember when we used to do
Chief Rock interview, take one. Alright, so I'm Damien. This is Noe, with Founders Blueprint, and we're gonna start you good?
Yep.
Alright, we're gonna start a new podcast called Origins, and we're gonna be interviewing just like the history of different cities. And because it's, we're from Houston, this is where Blueprint started. We're gonna interview our history, and we're gonna document our history here in Houston. And yeah, Blueprint may be about house, but a lot of our history is based around hip hop too. Besides the breaking part, you know what I'm saying? That's a whole another section that's already been documented and is already on the ball and rolling. So we're going to be interviewing Ragland, Shadow, and Ladybug, Joe, a.k.a. G.I. Joe from back in the day. And so let's get this going. So how do you feel, guys? How do you feel like being on the show?
Good.
Feeling good. Feeling
It's an honor, man. Thank you for welcoming us out.
Yeah, man. It's a pleasure having you guys here, bro.
Humbled and honored.
Yeah, man. It's been something in the making. Even when Joe was living here, we'd have talked about it for a minute, and me and Noe had been talking about it for a while too. Having you guys on or just documenting history, man. I think it needs to be told because a lot of this new generation, bro, they don't even know. You know what I'm saying? They have no idea, bro. Because like the generations that passed by, you know what I'm saying? It's like another generation comes and then they're gone. Another generation comes and they're gone, and it's like. For me, starting in 95, 94, it's like I've seen all this shit happen, and it's like, yo, what about these guys? I remember I used to see them, and nobody even knows who they are. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I think that needs to be told. Absolutely. I think it's really important. You got people in New York that are always telling their story, and it's documented and known. But you know what? Every city should be telling their own story. Yes. So go ahead.
I think a lot of the reason why this new generation is not being told or not knowing is because nobody's ever introduced them to it. But
That's true.
What this needs to be going on right now is this, because I think they would have more respect and more and look at us as different individuals as dancers, and they got introduced to it, but nobody ever introduced it to them. So they're like piecing it together, just like y'all guys are piecing it together, but y'all the ones that put your foot down and say, hey, let's do a podcast about how we got introduced to it. Yeah. So now, as far as us doing this, it'll get introduced to y'all, and then y'all guys are gonna piece it together to tell them and see it. So I think it'll flow good the way we're doing it right now.
I also think that a lot of it has to do with social media, bro, because everything's so documented on YouTube now, and there's so many events. Back then, we didn't have that many events. You know what I'm saying? Like, we only knew people by word of mouth, and then who won who or what event, and it was like, oh yeah, that dude's dope. Yeah, but that's it.
You had to be there. That's the difference. Now, not having the social media and constantly having that camera in your hand 24/7.
Yeah.
You had to be there to experience it. If you wasn't there, you would have heard about it. And it's just like even the artists back then that we looked up to, your Tribe Called Quest and your De La Souls. If you didn't go to their concert, if you didn't see their video, their lives were a mystery. Those really were idols.
Yeah.
So it's totally different from that.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think like going back to what you just said right now, like the first thing that ever happened as far as like contest and all that was like Shelter back on 1960.
Yeah.
They were the first ones that ever threw a dance competition.
Shout out to Edwin Dean.
So like it was like, and I remember it was Warehouse, it was Winos, it was Chaos, and Rock Skittles crew.
Yeah.
Those are the crews that were actually, and G Tribe.
Yeah.
But G Tribe kind of at the end, kind of that we don't want to do it. So they didn't do it. So it was actually Chaos, which was Nani, was still involved in Chaos. So it was Chaos. and it was Winos and Warehouse that battled.
So what year was this? Like what
That
around
was
what
like-
time?
That was probably like 94.
94.
That was 94 when we did that. And so it was like, we were all like kind of like freaking out when we saw that because we had never did a contest before.
Yeah.
You know, and I remember Winos, you know, Ragland, Cocuts, you know, Stacy, Toby, you know, they all came with
Phillip.
routines, and so did Chaos.
Cheeto.
You know, and so it was like, and Warehouse was like, nah, the way Coro is still now to do routines and stuff, that's how Warehouse was back in the day, because we didn't like doing that, but these guys were like about doing routines, and Chaos was too. But
Yeah.
It was a very good competition, so we all learned from that, and at the end it was Warehouse versus Winos.
No, it
And of
wasn't.
course, yeah, it was Winos won at the end.
No, it was Chaos
Was it Chaos?
against
Oh, my bad.
Winos, and Chaos beat us that day. We won several different weeks on that one at Shelter. We won. And at the end of the day, shout out Chaos. They came through on a b-boy tip, dressed the same, Northside representing. Nani, you know, founded the group and was a part of the group, part of their routine, and went out there and just killed it.
Yeah.
They wrecked it. And I mean, they're from the same neighborhood we were. We were like brothers. We grew up together, and it was like, wow, y'all been hiding this from us. Y'all came over here and just, honestly, they devastated. This, I think it's on YouTube, as a matter of fact. But it was an experience back then. We can go back to that statement you made about the social media and whatnot.
Having to be there. To experience.
You had to
Yeah.
be there to experience it.
Yeah.
And I think you had to be creative at that time of our life to be a dancer.
No, for sure.
You had to want to stand out.
Yeah, man.
You had to want to be different. You
Yeah.
had to want to, you know, put the work in.
Yeah.
We didn't have the access to say flair and click on YouTube or footwork,
Right.
style.
Yeah.
How do you talk hip hop? I mean, these kids have
How you
access
dress.
to, you know, things which aren't to us at our age. Is like, man, if y'all only knew, live your life, love what you love, and keep pushing. You know?
Yeah, and I relate because like you know, the only videos I ever had was like going to the Bomb and buying like Battle of the Year '95 and B-Boy Summit. You know,
That was the battle.
that was it. And then you didn't have teachers, but our class was the club. You know what I'm saying? And so you watch, and then you would go home and practice and try to figure out how they did it or make it your own. So it took longer. The process was longer, and it was more authentic because it was like creativity first.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Versus like learning and then making it your own. But getting to the all the crew names and stuff, like what was your original crew? What year did you start? Like what year did y'all start dancing?
I know for me, man, I really started dancing. Who influenced me to I knew I was going to be an entertainer? Michael Jackson. I was 8 years old.
That's what's
When
up,
I
man.
saw Thriller,
Yeah.
it was a wrap for me.
Did you go to the store and buy a red jacket?
Michael Jackson. I had the black jacket. I had the red jacket. I had
Yeah.
the Thriller jacket. I was Michael Jackson. You couldn't tell me nothing else. I used to wish
Yeah,
Michael
right.
Jackson would come and pick me up one day and save me from out the hood. Michael Jackson was a huge influence on me. MC Hammer was a huge influence on me.
Man.
I had the Dookie pants. I had the cardigan sweaters and the the wild pair of shoes. The
Polka dot shirts.
What
Yeah.
are the Z Cavariccis?
What are the shoes? The
that
shiny
era.
Cross colors.
So that was for me, man. But when I guess when it came to hip hop, I was like 12 or 13.
What year was that?
This was.
Or how old are you?
I'll be 44 this month.
All right, 44,
So,
man.
Shout out for 44.
Fofo.
Hard to the people.
Yeah.
I just remember at that time. I remember when the first tape I stole, the first hip hop group that had a real influence on me was Tribe Called Quest. I stole their first tape from Sound Waves.
I know it's
Wait. 45 South Sound Waves?
Yes, sir. Yep, I stole that tape there. So that was I remember hip hop being a major influence on me around about 14.
That's
15,
crazy, man.
yeah.
What about you, Ragland?
Well, this is gonna be some crazy history that goes deeper than us. We're trying to put pieces together.
Yeah, for sure.
But I have an older brother. Shout out to my older brother, Joseph Babineau. And I have double first cousins, which is some Louisiana stuff. My mom and her mom married my dad and his dad. And there's like 6 brothers. Well, I was a kid, probably 6 years old, 7 years old, and I always wanted to play ball with them, and I was too young. But they were always in the same age group. They would breakdance. They had these, they called them parachute pants.
Yeah.
With the zippers all over the place. And I was
Right.
like, man, dude, that's so dope and raw. And they would practice, I'll be in the background trying on everybody's stuff in the mirror. And so my brother and my cousins, number one, influenced me at a young age and told me I couldn't, which made me just love it.
Want to do it
because
more?
when they would leave, they would go, everybody from Houston, if you're old, my brother's 50, I think. There's a place off of, on the north side off of Antoine, it's called Showbiz Pizza.
Yeah.
And they would shut it down, and they would have like a b-boy event. And these old school dudes that are older than us would go there and like dance against each other. And they would go like I think it was like a Thursday, and I would cry, dude. I'd be in my room crying like these dudes. And I would watch what's that movie with the little Chinese dude breakdancing?
Oh
Who's
yeah.
the
Yeah.
master? Show enough. And I was like, dude, I'm just like him. I'm little. You know what I'm saying? I could go out there and I could do his part. They would never let me go. So
That's crazy,
You were
man.
catching bullets with
Oh,
your
the
teeth.
Last Dragon.
the
Last
last
Dragon.
dragon. That was it.
When you got that glow.
Yeah.
That was it, bro. And that just
So old school.
that put the fire in me to keep, pushing and a wannabe. You know what I'm saying? It's like that one basketball player who never owned a basketball but looked up to Michael Jordan and
Yeah. Yeah, for
became
sure.
something, I guess.
And how old are you?
21
21 plus 23
plus
more.
20. 42.
42.
Yes, sir.
That's what's up, man. Ladybug, how old are you? 50?
I'm 44. Still
44.
going.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I see you.
Feeling good.
Chief Rocker.
Yeah, that's right. Chief Rocker. All day, every day. All right, so, I'm going to talk about from where I started and how I got introduced to the dancing scene, hip-hop scene. So, like, in my early 90s, like 87, 88, 89, I was so influenced. I loved, NWA. I wasn't even Too Short.
Man.
So I wasn't even involved in a lot of the, like, Tribe Called Quest and all that. I'll be honest with you. I was more of that whole West Coast side of the the music of hip hop, so
You were
like
a gangster.
gangster, yeah, whatever you want to call it, so
You thought you were a gay.
yeah, and it was like I used to listen to a lot of that. So then,
Wankster.
so I was like dressed like in jabots, cross colors, all that stuff, like and it was great. But I always thought I could dance because I used to do the Kid and Play or the Running Man, but I wasn't even doing it right. You know what I'm saying? So like finally, this guy that moved into my apartments, and we lived kind of like in the projects in the Southwest. It was real poor. He moved in there, and it was Hector Del Valle.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So he came across, and I was like, who's this guy? Like he was dressed weird, cut off shirts, cut off pants at the bottom. And I was like, man, what's wrong with this guy? Like, he's crazy. I'm all preppy and stuff. And he started introducing me to the music.
Jico's request.
No, that's not yet. And he started introducing me to Diamond D, Tribe Called Quest. That's when I started getting introduced to it. And I was like, man, I love this. And then I went and I started cutting all my pants, cutting all my shirts, started cutting my shirts. And I'll never forget the first time he told me, hey, we're going to Red Square Thursday, all ages. And I was like, really? He's like, everybody's going to be there dancing. And I was like, all right. And I came. I didn't even know too much about it. I was practicing a little bit, and I remember getting there. I seen Ragland. I seen Sergio Donez. I seen David Donez. That was the first time I ever seen
Little Frankie?
No, Little Frankie wasn't there yet. I seen Sergio doing hand spins, but he was walking them.
Oh.
Yeah, and so then later on that day, he got there. Shadow got there, and it was Lonnie, and everybody was and Rudy, and everybody was in the circle, and everybody was dancing. I was sitting there like, oh my God, I was like amazed looking at that. So I took that. I went back to where I lived, and I practiced every day.
How old were you?
I think at that time I was probably like 19.
19.
No, yeah, I was excuse me.
Square, bro.
No, I was 17. Yeah. I was barely about to turn 18. Excuse me.
Yeah.
I was barely fixing to turn 18. So then I went 18, started following it, and then probably like months after that is kind of when I met Mario.
Yeah.
And that's when Mario, had asked me, was I in a dance group? And I was like, no, I'm not. He's like, you want to get in a dance group? And I was like, yeah. He goes, you want to get in Warehouse? And I was like, yeah. So I got into Warehouse just like that. That's how we used to get in. So it was like a lot of us.
You had to be invited.
There was like probably like 10 of us, and we didn't even know each other.
Yeah.
So like I never forget.
So is Red Square where everybody met?
Yeah.
How did y'all meet together? Like
Red Square was the main thing. It was Red
Red
Square because
Square.
it was all ages on Thursdays.
Yeah.
No, it was different. It was different for everybody because before Red Square there was Studio A at Astroworld. And that
There you go.
there was Kokomo's, there was cars.
Yeah, but Kokomo's is
Middle
more
Earth.
for the 18 and up.
Kokomo's is all ages.
Kokomo's all ages.
Was it?
Kokomo-
That was before my time.
That was
so that's
before your
y'all.
time, yeah.
And it,
You know.
over there is where I met Rudy Martinez.
That's where I met you at.
No.
I did meet you at,
No,
yes.
we knew
I
each other
met-
before
No,
that.
nigga.
When you acknowledged me. Oh, time out.
No. Keep going.
In-bomb.
Keep going. Keep it going. It's all good. It's all good. Yeah.
That's where I met. Well, he said we met there.
I remember seeing I first saw you at Kokomo's.
Okay, but they had Northside
'Cause
had a
it-
different
yeah.
had a different little feel and a vibe to it because Kokomo's wasn't set up pretty much for the dancer, but at the time you get that 1-2 songs in, you know you get it. And I saw Shadow. I
Hold
think
up.
at the time we were
Are
wearing.
recording? Volume? Yeah. Audio? He said it? All right, cool. I'm tripping. I thought
Trip,
Yeah,
trip,
yeah, my
trip,
bad. Go
trip,
ahead.
trip, tripping on you.
I
I forgot what I was saying.
Reset up where y'all met, where you guys met.
Oh yeah,
Yo, one
Kokomo's
second.
was
Where-
set up.
Where was Red Square in downtown?
Red Square was in
Midtown
downtown.
now.
It was
Midtown.
like more of a uppity club
Yeah.
for like, you know, a lot of
It
the
was a predominantly
yeah,
white.
it was more of like more Caucasian people that went
Preppy.
there. You know, so yeah. So like but then they started making it the 18 and up. You know, the teenage year
Yeah,
the
yeah.
teenage nights was Thursday. It was from 7 to 12.
What kind of music did they play there?
They played
Everything.
like
Oh,
everything.
no, wait a
Hood
minute,
at the
wait a minute.
bottom.
Downstairs was
Hip-hop.
hip hop. Upstairs was
House.
your EDM, what we call EDM now. It was house music.
Yeah.
Well, you
House
know-
and tech. Then
yeah,
it was
yeah.
house and techno.
Yeah.
Which
Call
I
me
hated.
Robin
Mr.
S,
Vane.
Robin S,
Call
and,
me
you
Mr.
know, all that
Crystal-
stuff.
Crystal
Waters.
Waters.
So
Yeah.
that's what we got. That's how we all like. That's where I started meeting everybody. But like, and then going back to like what I was
Talk
saying
to the mic.
was like, you know, I had got into warehouse because of Mario and Blast.
Yeah.
You know, and Blast didn't even really talk. It was more Mario. Then I got introduced to Sergio
Yeah.
in Sharpstown Mall, and from Benny Gonzalez. There was another guy that was in the warehouse. You know what I'm saying? So he's like, "Hey, this is Sergio." Me and Sergio kind of looked at each other, kind of like mad dogging each other, and we asked each other, "You in warehouse? I'm in warehouse too." So me and him became really, really, really good friends, and that's when we started practicing. He lived in Ridgemont,
Yeah.
and that's when I got introduced to the Record Shop in Brooklyn video.
Oh shit.
See,
So
by that
that's
time,
crazy.
By that time, that's when I got introduced to it, and I didn't know that nobody really knew about that video because you know it was like mostly me, Sergio, David, and Benny because Sergio had that video.
Yo.
You know what I'm saying? So we weren't really close with Mario and all them yet until because I had a car. So I used to go pick up Sergio.
Everybody else
ride.
is on the north side too. Y'all on the south side.
Yeah, we're on the south side. So remember, I was like on me and Blast and him and Ragland were the only ones that had cars.
oh, don't forget Lonnie. 'Cause
no,
I
no,
remember-
no. I'm talking about the car situation. So I used to pick
Bro,
them up.
I'm talking about Lonnie. Lonnie, I remember a lot of my rides to the club was through Lonnie.
Well, no, I'm talking
Lonnie
about
wasn't
the way
around
we
there.
hooked
You're
up.
talking about
So-
warehouse. Lonnie wasn't around.
Yeah, Lonnie was
Scoot
around
back a little
us.
bit, scoot back.
So like, you know, like when I picked up Sergio is when we started going to Mario's house to go practice. And that's when we started getting introduced. And that's when I felt like the video of the Record Shop in Brooklyn started making its rounds so we could see. And that's where we got influence
Yeah.
to that vibe
Yeah.
of that dancing scene for as far as like the hip hop scene.
Yeah.
And then, you know, we kind of got a little bit introduced to the house scene on that part, you know. And so that's when we started, you know.
But before that, what was your influence?
I could say, for me, before the Wreck and Shop video, I had got introduced to house and techno when my boy Laquan, he was from New York. He introduced me. We started going to a club called Lizard Lounge on the southwest side, and it was a predominantly white establishment. But they played nothing. They played zero hip hop. There's nothing but house music, and techno music, and I had never heard that music before then. But it was something about that energy, and I remember that first night I went, I got on the dance floor, and I zoned out. I think my spirit left my body because after I got done with my set, the floor was empty, and I was the only person on the floor. Everybody else around me was just like, everybody in the club. Now I'm not exaggerating. Like this ain't no like literally the club froze, and I just remember getting applause that night, and
That's
I was
what's
just
up,
like,
man.
I love this shit.
Yeah.
And I kept coming back.
Would you say that back then it was just more freestyle than having like a base foundation to anything?
There was no
name.
rules. There was no foundation.
It was just straight dance.
You were
It was
just
just dance.
expressing
The only thing we had back then.
I just felt the music. I just followed the vibe
Yeah,
of
you let the
music.
sound move you.
Exactly.
Hold on, Joe. The only thing we had back then that was in stone and found, we had a thing called, we went,
Elephant kick.
no, you whenever you didn't dance, you went and you stayed, I think it was right there on my tip of my mouth, and it went away.
Go ahead, just
Whenever you're not ready, you're not dancing, you're practicing, but we called it something else back then. We went, what was it called?
like a warm up or some shit.
No. Underground.
Underground.
That, I mean, it
Was
was
it-
no.
was it called
Underground was
Underground?
different. No, it was more like because we had a lot of people from our crew that didn't really dance. Like Mario didn't dance, and Blast didn't dance a lot.
They were cold.
They were good as. They were very, very good.
It was almost like you're saving it for that big moment.
big moment.
What do you
But-
mean that? You mean like not dancing the cipher or?
No, they wouldn't. They wouldn't battle.
dance, they wouldn't battle. It's like it was almost they would practice, but it's almost like they would preserve their moves and their
for the show for the main piece.
the main thing.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I want to go back to like what you were saying earlier, like who we looked up to, you know, as far as like, you know, in our era,
Yeah.
before the record shop in Brooklyn,
Yeah.
because we had people that we looked up to, but then we also had the people that we looked up to, like we, you know, like we're just gonna look at them all night dance.
Yeah.
And one of those guys was Shadow. You know what I'm saying? Was him. You
That's
know,
dope,
like
man.
when he would come to the club, we knew we're just gonna sit back and we're gonna look at him dance all night long.
Yeah.
Because we don't see him that much. He's living in Jersey. He comes down here every now and then, so we're gonna sit back. We're gonna see him dance, and we're gonna see Steve dance.
Yeah.
And the only reason
You know.
why I was away is because I was in the military. That's why I was in New Jersey.
And so that's why
Scoot back a little bit,
and
Jim.
so that's why, like, to us, when we saw them dancing, it was a totally different thing. And you know, we had another guy named Ned that
Yeah.
was in a crew called Nubian Nomads.
Ned, Snap.
You know what I'm
Damn.
saying? And
And
Snap.
I have to talk about
Ephraim.
who my influences were outside of the Wreck and Shop video. I named one of them. Laquan was a big influence on me. Paco was a big influence on me. Another dope, weird. At that time, I was like, this is another weird black dude like me. And so I was just easily attracted to him. Not in that way. But and there's another dancer a lot of people don't know about who was the biggest influence on me when I first stepped foot into a big club. I was 14 years old, getting into Club Palladium on the north side.
Wow.
Dang, he said Palladium. That's
And
old school.
who I looked up to then, who was like, this dude was 18. He was from New York. His name was Frosty.
Frosty Ice?
Not DJ Frosty Ice. This is a black dude, light skinned black dude. He used to dance in a lot of the music. He was from New York. He was an
That's
authentic New
crazy.
York dancer. He came down. He had the graffiti on his pants and all that whole '90s flavor. He had the big flat top with the wop. You know, he just his
So
look
the-
just said dance.
But the Nubian Nomads were they before you guys? Like it was an older generation.
They were
Let me talk about
before-
that. Let me talk about that. They
Go ahead.
what happened, and I'm gonna break this up a little bit about Houston because Houston, you know, as a hip hop culture,
Yeah.
we didn't move the same.
Yeah.
And I grew up on the north side, which is predominantly Latin, and you know we were the weirdos because we did the dancing thing.
And
We
we
were
hung out
dressed a
with
little
we
different.
we were the only black people that hung out with mostly.
Shadow was Mexican. He called him Jose.
My middle name is Jose.
All right. Hey, that's dope. That's dope.
No problem, but
Yeah.
north side just represented. But
You
there's
know
a
Spanish,
whole
bro? You know Spanish?
habla español.
No.
He's
Habla
mixed, but
español?
he don't have good hair. It's all gone.
But yeah,
No,
so-
but truthfully, there's like this stuff going on the north side.
yeah.
And there's just stuff going on the south side.
Yeah.
And we kind of touched bases on it earlier because we respected each other, but we never really came together until GT from 979 put together a place called The Shop. I think it was off of Bissonnette.
It
But there was these dancers and shout out to Nubian Nomads and Ned getting into winos later on. They had the style and everything that I wish I'd have known that was there, or wish I could have deciphered with because
Yeah.
you know, at the time we were going to the same places. We didn't know that there was I forgot the name of that place next to Caro's. There's like a little hip hop reggae joint in the corner, and they're supposed to bring Wu-Tang down a long
DFAT?
time ago. No, it wasn't DFAT. But it never happened. But my first experience as far as you know, meeting somebody that I kind of felt was on the same level was on TV. They had a TV show that Nia Peebles did, and then after the comedy show on Def Jam, we would look at the little clip for like 10 seconds where dancers were dancing.
Yeah.
I didn't know who they were, but I was like, dang, I did that.
Yeah.
He's doing the elephant kick.
Yeah.
You know, it was dope to see that. And I even to this day, I go back on YouTube and try to find those snips because they were dope.
Those days before
Turn the mic.
YouTube. I just remember those days before YouTube, man. Just remembering
That was our YouTube.
like capturing any
Commercial,
any
anything.
glimpse of hip hop dancing, which it wasn't at that time. It wasn't.
Much.
It was zero to none.
Yeah.
I mean, zero to little of it. So I remember us capturing those ciphers, Soul Train lines. Capturing when Big Daddy Kane would perform and you see Scoob and Scrap, or when you know.
Akinelli had a
talking
bad
about
video with some
those
dances
moments,
in it too.
bro, they were far and few and they were rare, but those were our teachers.
Yeah.
See, but
That's how we learned.
Exactly.
And
See,
you know,
but-
from those little bit, and we was able to build off of that little
Right,
bit
right.
of that little
Yeah.
bitty shit right there, bro. And that's
But
what
kinda-
makes hip hop so
Yeah.
dope, because it comes from almost absolutely nothing.
It's kind of like the way Ragland was saying it right now. Like they were from the north side. You know what I'm saying? Like, and we were from the
try
south.
not to cuff the mic.
Yeah, we're from the southwest side. So like the way he says they grew up doing it, we all did it different. Cause see, like me, I never got introduced to like dancing through like music videos or Soul Train and all that. 'Cause I didn't look at that stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So when I got introduced to it was from Hector, like I said, you know what I'm saying? That's when he started telling me about videos that had dancers on there from back in the 90s.
Yeah.
But I never like really, my first video that I ever saw that had like dancing in it that I was like, oh my God, you know, was Chief Rocker from Lords of the Underground.
Yeah.
And Crazy Legs was dancing in there. And that was
Gotcha.
breaking.
Yeah,
that
yeah,
wasn't
yeah,
even
yeah.
house, but I was like, oh man, that dude's so good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I got introduced to that. But like to the people that I know that like what got me getting hype and wanting to do all that was probably like, you know, was Hector for one. He was the first one. You know what I'm saying? And then Sergio, you know, David, you know what I'm saying? Ragland, Cold Cuts, Toby, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And Mario and Blast.
Yeah.
Because Mario and Blast, when we go practice at Mario's house, they danced all night, day long.
Yeah.
We did that. So we were like all like, oh my God, you know, like these dudes I was like, damn, these dudes are good. So I learned a lot from all those guys and like from him. He was more of a guy like I was gonna sit back and be like, I'm gonna study this dude. You know, I'm gonna look at him because he's so him and Big Rick from our crew. You know, Big Rick, Indian Rick. Everybody calls him Indian Rick. I don't even call him Big.
Why y'all calling me the
He
Indian?
had long hair.
Because he used to have long hair all the time.
So like everybody and like those are the guys like from Warehouse was Blast, Mario, Big Rick. You know, those are the guys that were like the ones that were like, oh man, these guys are good. And
Yeah.
they were, because Big Rick was really good at house dancing.
Yeah.
And he was good at hip hop dancing.
Yeah.
You know, he was good at all that stuff, you know. So but we didn't see Ragland in them for like a while sometimes.
Pause. Before Warehouse, I'm gonna bring it back. Warehouse it had an influence on what we did as a crew.
Yeah.
There was Jungle Jive.
Yeah.
There's a New Enemy line. And this is where Shadow came from, and this is all north
are
side.
crews? These are crews?
These are
How'd
crews.
you know about New Enemy Line? And
I was in quinceañeras battling and dancing.
Yo.
One of those dudes you ain't know who they were.
Yeah, but those were
you know what I'm
places
saying?
to be back
But that's
when you
the
were
way it
young.
used to be,
Yeah,
though.
that's where I would go.
That's where it came from. I mean, I met. I don't know if you're there or you paying attention. There's a dude named Eloy, who's cousins with a dude named Andrew that I went to school with, one of my good homeboys. We used to go to Astro, and our thing was we wore these Gap shirts. And you down? No, ours we were our solid, and the shirt was like a T-shirt, and it had a hood on it. And if you wore it to the right side, you were down with us.
Oh,
So I wasn't
wow.
officially a part of their crew, but I was gonna dance with them. And
Yeah,
I'm pretty
yeah.
sure they thought I was decent.
Yeah.
And that's where it went. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And from that North Side bunch, along with Chaos and what was the group? Hector came from, the B-boy by MacArthur.
Rock Skittles crew.
No, that's Cool Breeze. But from all that, we were dancers, not B-boys. But then that's when Winos manifested. We started off as SMD, which is Simply Mixed Dancers, to the Boogeymen, to Winos.
Damn, that's crazy, man.
So
As SMD, I met Cocuts. I met Cocuts as a kid, and his dad and my dad got together at a barbecue, and my dad was like, "Come with me, you come with me. You ain't got a choice." So I went over there. I was like, "I'm gonna be bored." Blah blah blah. Come to find out, I was right down the street from my house, and I'm looking at this dude, this kid who was weird looking, and I was weird looking. And I'm looking at myself. I had a Vision Streetwear shirt on. I think it was black. He had a Vision Streetwear shirt on that was white, and he had these crazy braids going all kind of places. And I was like, he was like. So I went up to him. I was like, "Dude, what's up?" what do you do? He's like, I don't know, I dance. And I was like, for real? What kind of dance? I dance too. And he does this freaking elephant kick and does this. Long story short, we ended up trading baseball cards, and I traded a chain, and come to find out we had connections together. And from that was our battery for winos.
Man, that's crazy, man.
Met Philip's sisters, Looney and Anna. They all were kind of older than us, so they kind of knew the places to go, and they knew the
Wait,
routine.
Cold Cuts was winos?
Yeah.
Man, that's crazy. I didn't know that.
But that's what I'm saying before he had told me to stop. It was like we all did that like warehouse. You know what I'm saying? Was Mario and all of us, because like Ragland and them were winos.
Yeah.
So they stayed on the north side. They never really came.
Yeah.
They never really came to where we were at. So we were always practicing. So our thing was like, we'll see y'all at the club Thursday.
Yeah.
We'll see y'all at Shelter
Yeah.
on Friday, because it was after hours, all ages. So we all meet there. So we were dancing all night long. We'd see each other all weekend, but through the Monday through like Thursday,
Yeah.
we didn't see each other. So like it was me and Sergio. So like Sergio, he showed me a lot.
Yeah.
And even though Hector introduced me to it, like Sergio showed me like the ropes of like, this is how it needs to be done.
Right.
You know, like as far as stretch and this, that.
Yeah.
And you got to learn how to do it this way.
Weren't you a part of Life as
No,
well?
Never.
What was it?
See, I was about to get into that. So like, when I got introduced to the whole
Or G Tribe?
No, I was never them.
Yeah, see,
they were
I
from my
always thought-
hood.
I always
They
thought you were a part of Life.
I lived in the north side, and I was real cool with them because I moved from the southwest to the north
All
side.
right.
So then we became really good friends.
Oh, you just don't want to claim it no more.
Yeah, he's scared.
You just don't want to claim
He
it.
came to
and
the real
like,
side.
Latinos
so
in full
let me
effect,
explain this.
son.
So then when I got into the house dancing and the hip hop scene, like he was saying, you know, and I'm going to go back to this because I will never forget the time when I was at Red Square.
Yeah.
And it was Laquan and Ned. And they were downstairs listening to hip hop. And I never forget, and this is going to go back to what y'all talk about. We were down there, and I never forget when Ned said, let's go upstairs. They're playing Robin S. and Crystal
show me
Waters.
love.
They didn't even say house dancing.
Yeah.
Or freestyle dancing.
Yeah.
They're playing Robin S. and Crystal Waters. Let's go upstairs. And I never forget, they danced hip hop like great, but they switched up their whole style to fit that beat of
Yeah.
house dancing.
Yeah.
Rhythm,
and that's
bro.
what we're like. I was like,
Yeah.
man, what
Yeah.
is he doing?
Yeah.
That was the first guy I ever seen.
Go on, keep going.
That was the first guy I ever seen slide on his head
Oh,
and
shit.
kick his feet and go back to his feet and dance house. Like, or, you know, so it was a lot. Like, and that's when we that's when I started getting introduced to the whole battling. Like,
Gotcha.
so that's when I got introduced to G Tribe.
Yeah.
Which was called Gimme Tribe.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's when I got introduced, and I remember Sergio telling me, these are the fools that, these are our rivalries. These are the fools we don't get along with.
God.
We talk
got
about
you.
it.
You know, I'm talking about
rivalry.
rivalries and fights
Man.
and all that every
And-
Friday
and-
or
shit
Thursday.
Not to cut you off, but just to be clear, so the people watching is like, there's a difference between freestyle, like as in the way us down Houston we talk about like how you rap, where it's off the top of the head, and then there's a freestyle dance style.
So let me,
There's two different versions.
No
You gotta-
sets.
let me talk about
Yeah.
it.
No sets.
Let me
We
talk
don't
about
practice. Where you get it.
Yeah,
You feel the
it's
beat.
all
That's
improvised.
what a
It's all
cipher is.
improvised.
If
It's all
freestyle
improvised.
there is no practice, and I was going to touch on that. I never practiced. My practicing was in the club.
In the club,
My
yeah.
practicing was on the dance floor.
Yeah.
That's where I practiced at. You know, so that was freestyling.
Yeah.
You didn't prepare. You don't prepare for a freestyle.
Yeah.
It ain't a freestyle no more. It's a
Like
routine.
you might have a couple moves, but then
Well, you got your
then-
signature
Yeah,
moves.
you got your signature moves.
We studied.
but
Honestly, we studied.
everything was
We
just
back in the day.
improvised in the moment.
Back in the warehouse day, everybody did an elephant kick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then everybody would do this
Everybody
little
did a
roll
1990.
bridge. You did a
But
90.
in that day, the best person that did all that, like I'm not gonna lie, was Sergio. Sergio had the best V kick ever.
Sergio was our. That was our.
Sergio and Cold Cuts on my
Every-
end.
it's almost like-
too.
Cold Cuts
Cold Cuts was-
sit there and just hold it like he was retarded.
It's almost. It's like everybody in the crew. Everybody in the crew had their specialty. You know,
Yeah.
it was almost like everybody
You
having
said
their
it right.
own special powers. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
it was
yeah.
like
We were like
almost like
superheroes.
like a fucking like the Legion of Doom or like
comic
you
book
know like
characters.
comic book characters like or like the five deadly venoms. Everybody had their
Yeah.
specialty. Everybody
Yeah.
had their power. You
the
know,
five
it was
deadly
everybody was
venoms.
unique in their own way, and it was just so dope. But at the
You were
same
just
time,
moving to the music.
But at the
Yeah.
same
way
time-
you
We're all
knew
connected
how.
by the
However
drum.
you felt-
but
however
at
you
the
felt
same
it,
time,
yeah.
we were still all influenced
Yeah.
on each other, but still having different styles.
But it changed though. Well, like you
No,
just
of
said, it got
course.
so
You get
so at
influenced.
that time it was freestyle because we didn't. we didn't know it was house dancing.
No.
We knew it was music that was faster, and
Yeah.
a girl was singing and had a faster beat.
It was house
and
music.
then we knew hip hop, so we were like, we'd go dance to Robin S. We were just doing what we did to hip hop,
Yeah, of course.
but just a little
Yeah.
bit faster.
You-
Until the years went and started going, and we started getting introduced to the record shop in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
And then when they were in there, they had the beat, and then so they were dancing to that. So it was like, and they were going to that beat, and I was like, man, what are they doing? Because that's not hip hop. You know what I'm saying? And then at the end, when they're at the end of the video, when they're in the club,
But you
and
say
they're
that,
dancing house.
but you say that's not hip hop. But you gotta you forget.
It is,
But
excuse
you
me.
forget.
The
Jungle,
roots of it.
Jungle Tribe, Jungle Brothers. Girl, our house shoot. Girl,
yeah.
our
No,
house
yeah,
shoot.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, at the time,
You in my house now.
what I'm
You
talking
know what I'm
about at the
saying?
time, like a lot of us didn't know. Oh, they're dancing.
But
house.
Talking
house
like-
was
You know what I'm
hip hop
saying?
at that time.
It was.
It was a part.
But it started changing. It started changing little by little.
It
You know what
changed
I'm
whenever
saying?
the rules came to Houston. Same thing with b-boying.
Yeah.
Somebody came to me about 6-step. I was like, what are you talking about? You can't do 6-step. Like, you can't do top rock because Crazy Legs 6. Well, hey, guess what? I met Crazy Legs one time in my life. Shout out to you. And the rest of that was all about me learning on my own.
All right, so getting back to what we were talking about as far as like the freestyle and when movement and definition started coming into play, I think it's important to talk about that because a lot of people were like, we didn't do that, we didn't do this, but when a certain dance is starting to be created, when everybody's freestyling and then it starts to evolve, you have to define it. You know what I'm saying? In order for it to grow, in order for it to be distinguished and be like, oh, that's house, you have to define it. You know what I'm saying? Because this is something that I thought about. Like if you go to a house club, 200-300 people dancing, everybody's dancing, but you see one person dancing a certain way, you're like, oh, damn, that dude's a house dancer. That's how you define it. You know what I'm saying? So you have to categorize it. That's why moves are categorized sometimes. You give a move a name and everybody's like, oh, you're doing those 90s. It's like once you say a 90, you know what they're talking about. So I think it's important to notice that it has to evolve into a defining moment.
And that's
And for it to
totally
grow.
opposite of what Winos was about.
Yeah.
I mean, no disrespect
Yeah,
to
for
the
sure.
dance or
That's cool.
nothing, but we tried to be so different, and each person, implement their different, as different as they are,
Yeah.
to where we stand out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody had their own, I keep going back to Cocos. Cocos was a flexible fool, and everybody know, don't come to him with that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it was important for us to just stand out. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah,
If you label it, it was a negative to us because
Mhm.
we went total opposite.
Yeah.
If you dance to the drum and the hit, we dance to the snare.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense. You're just turning up dancing. We had battles where we turned into animals.
Right,
You know
right,
what I'm saying?
right.
You go in there as a tiger. You go in there as this. You go in there as that. And we did that.
Yeah.
Go in there as a ballerina. I remember, I don't know the battle. It was a b-boy battle. They called Cocos out because he did like 5 different styles, and that was like the beginning. That was like his top rock. He did like a plie, like he was getting ready to do some plie stuff, and he top rock, and he started hip hopping. And to me, that like went wow. And it's like
It was in Seattle.
it's like having those two
was that,
having
Red
those
Bull
two
Lords of the Floor?
kids.
It
Yeah.
was Lords of
One
the Floor,
listen to
Red
you,
Bull.
and you're like,
he
oh,
battled
man,
Mario.
You're an awesome kid, and that one that you still love to death, but he went against the grain.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They both were your children. You
Yeah.
still love them, but that one's like rare. He's
Yeah.
different. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
So-
I mean, it goes. I mean, the whole thing, like you were saying earlier, like the names and all that stuff. Like, I mean, we weren't like introduced to it like that. The only thing,
No,
the
definitely.
only thing we got introduced to was, like, I'll be honest with you, was the elephant kick.
Yeah.
And handspin,
Yeah.
which is called 1990.
V-kick.
That's like in a V kick. Those are the or a K kick later.
Yeah.
But those were the tricks that everybody was doing.
Right.
At that time, certain people had it more flexible.
Yeah.
Some people had it more stronger. Some people, did it like that. Like Ragland.
Yeah.
He was like a real acrobatic person, and so was he. He
Yeah.
used to be able to jump over your head and do a split. You know what I'm saying? And but Ragland and Stacy was another cat from Winos that was unbelievable
Yeah.
also at dancing.
Unbelievable. I wish he would have been more involved in the streets. Like, I mean, to me, whenever this dude got into Winos, me, Toby, Stacy, and Cocuts,
That was a squad.
it was indestructible to me.
Yeah.
Because there's so much rhythm, dude. There's so much going on as far as rhythm, acrobatics, and just vibe. You know, there's nothing. You're in a cipher and somebody's vibing. And you're like, ooh, because you're doing that, you're making me, and you know how to just go. Now people practice that. You know, after somebody did, everybody did. Blah, 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 blah. No.
Yeah.
But
he was take it somewhere else.
He was kind of like Shadow though. Like, you know, I've known Stacy for a long time. We used to be skaters together.
Yeah.
You know, back in the day. You know, and then you know, he was dancing already, and then I started picking it up. You know what I'm saying? But he was always like, you know, he was always really good at the rhythm, dancing, flipping, real acrobatic. You know what I'm saying? He loved that stuff.
Combos.
You know?
I never seen combos until I saw Stacy.
Yeah,
People would jump. You know, you do an elephant kick, and somebody would do like a spring off your back.
He was the first person I used to see do suicides.
And dance, and he was like,
Bro, his combo.
wow.
He was sick,
crazy.
man. You know, but he was like him. Like he'd come around every now and then to the club. You didn't see him all the time.
Yeah.
He'd come. He was like a surprise.
Yeah.
To us, like him, Steve, and Stacy, and and also you know, Laquan, all those guys, Paco. When they would show up to the club, that was like a treat to us. For us youngins to go sit there and look at them dance in the cipher, you know, so it was like off the chain when we used to see that, you know, so it was like, oh my God. So that's where we all started picking up all that stuff. And then little by little after that is when we started picking up the battling.
Yeah.
We started beefing with Northside, which was G Tribe and Life. You know, it started beefing. Like, they didn't like the way we danced. We didn't like the way they danced. And every Thursday when we went to the club, we had one circle here. They had one circle here.
But it wasn't just Northside though, because like I said, half of Warehouse was Northside. Winos are from Northside. Chaos is from Northside. So it was just that. To me, what I saw was like, you know, yin yang. There's that look, kind of like when you pledge at a fraternity. There's that look of a guy, and there's this look of a guy. We're this look. And G Tribe, Life, they had that other, like, we're always going to be your competitor.
Yeah.
So no matter where we went, if one of them were there, we're going to battle. It's going down.
Going down.
And all due respect, you know, we
was on
respected
site.
we respected them, and we respected them because if you didn't have nobody to battle against, it was boring.
How could you be defined as the best if you have no competition?
Right.
That was hip hop in it, battling. You know what I'm saying?
Was healthy.
It was competition all the time. Like we go to the clubs,
Absolutely.
all the time, and there was always competition.
Yeah.
And then it went from G Tribe competition to the Fatheads. Peace to Icky. You know what I'm
Rest in
saying?
peace, Icky.
And to the Fatheads and all them guys. So it was like, you know, that's when we all started like beefing because their Fatheads was teamed up with G Tribe to battle Warehouse and Winos.
And one thing that you never seen was an all-black dance group out of Houston that was looking like Rec Shop. To me, me knowing what I see now and looking at them, it was like, them dudes are on it like that. You know what I'm saying?
And they didn't have the video.
Yeah.
They didn't have the record shop.
They didn't have the video. There's another crew that just came out of
nowhere.
Out of rhythm, dude. Like I said, we're all connected to the drum. How you hit that drum, how you feel that beat,
Right.
connection, you do it.
Yeah.
Some people have it naturally, and some people have to study it. Some people have to put sets. Somebody have to learn it piece by piece and then get better towards the end.
Yeah.
But some people just have that.
I think it's just the approach. I see what you're saying, but the approach is like, to me, is either one, you're doing it in the club and you're learning as you go, right? And it's kind of like it takes time to build, right? But when you go and you take classes, like this new generation, right? They have classes. You go to in YouTube, you go to a class and you learn faster because you're learning to move. But then they have to learn how to apply it, as where you're learning how to apply and then you're learning moves. You know what I'm saying? And it's kind of like backwards in this generation. I think that's what's get lost in the feeling, because people learn moves first and then they learn the feeling later.
And that's
as opposed to
I wanted to
where
bring
y'all
up an experience that we had when we were part of Fly. Our first performance was at the JCC, Jewish Community Center, and we opened up for the Houston Ballet. And I remember us coming in there with our baggy khaki pants on, our baggy shirts, and we just looked like some hip hop thugs. Yeah. Those Jinko wide leg khaki pants. And I remember, you know, their noses in the air when we walked backstage. And they didn't speak to us. They were just like, you know, who are these thugs? You know, it was just that attitude. But when we went out there and we rocked that stage, and we got that standing ovation, they had to bow down. They had to respect us and the reason why they had to respect us is because we can do what y'all can do. We may not be as technical as y'all, but y'all could not begin to even
Nah.
do a quarter of what we
Yeah,
do.
yeah.
So you gotta respect it.
Yeah,
and
for
we
sure.
wasn't, and mind you, we wasn't taught this.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So you have to respect it.
yeah.
I think whenever you're too structured, you don't know how to like.
You don't know how
let
to feel.
loose.
Nah,
comfort
nah.
zone.
You don't know how to
yeah,
feel.
exactly.
You're very square.
You're very rigid.
And even I think now too, with so many battles and competition, it's created that too, because now everybody trains to battle, and there's nobody's dancing just for the love of dancing and feeling the music. And I'm not saying everybody's like that, because I know there are people who do both. You know what I'm saying? But battling is a whole nother world.
It's a whole other monster.
It's a whole nother monster. You know
And
what I'm saying?
myself,
I'm not good at it. I ain't gonna say.
myself,
You know what I'm saying?
Even though I did battle then, it wasn't. That wasn't. I
It was
loved
more freestyle
It was
battle.
more freestyle.
Our battling, but our battling was different.
It was
than
different
the way
because it wasn't.
is now.
I'm not really.
It was
we
a cipher
call it-
battle,
We call
not
it
like
battling, but
10
it was
points.
more. It was
Yeah,
more like.
yeah.
It was more
5
like
points.
it was more like a cipher. It's like
Yeah.
You know when somebody
everybody
got you.
basically showing what.
You
let
know
me
when somebody got
showing
you,
off
dude.
basically.
We
Like,
didn't
man, let me
have
show my
min-
style.
We didn't have minutes or 2 rounds or 3 rounds.
No.
Or we're not. You ready? All right, play the song and
Yeah.
you battle now. You know, we would just get there, start dancing, and we start dancing. We notice this guy coming in and out, in and out. Oh, this dude's coming after us. We're gonna battle. So we would start battling.
It was
You know
kind of
what
like
I'm
you just
saying?
got to top each other.
Yeah,
like,
you know,
what I'm
so it
saying?
was bad.
Or there was elite. Like we would go to the club, cool, but there was an elite circle that if anybody coming that, am I right or wrong? If you coming that, you better come with
Come
something.
with your A game.
Man,
You better come with it because you're gonna.
There's
get,
a
you're
lot
gonna
of
get
people in
smashed.
this new generation that don't understand that. They see elite dancers and they want to go in because they want to share the circle with the elite dancer. I'm like, yo, man, wait your turn. You know what I'm saying? Like this conversation is beyond your understanding right now.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
You ain't ready for this.
You ain't ready for this.
And I mean, but you said it right though, man. Because the new generation now, like, you know, mad respect to the new generation and what they're doing because they're keeping it going still.
Yeah, for
But it's
sure.
just, you know, like it's totally different now because, like, you know, their main concern is not like the way we used to think it. We're practicing, we're dancing to go to the club on Thursday and all weekend.
Yeah.
Now they're dancing to either get sponsored
Yeah.
or I have a battle in San Diego or in France or in Japan. We just did it for the club.
We
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie. We danced to get the respect of our peers and the accolades. It was just about just have that clout, bro.
You're right.
Just getting that respect of the people that, you know, the people that you was among.
Your surroundings. You
I
know
think
what I'm saying?
I think for like party dances,
that was
like,
the payment.
like
Yeah.
house dance and hip hop for party dances, like it's important to go to the club. But
Yeah,
for like
for
b-boying, it's kind of hard to like really find a space in a club to get
But
down.
that's like-
it's a separate world. You know
That's
I
what
mean?
happened to me as far as like whenever I started like dying down on the house part of it was because like I wasn't used to that. You know what I'm saying? I was more used to the club scene and everything started transferring over to the whole competition scene of it of house dancing. That's when people was like, "You're not gonna get in the contest. You're not gonna get." I was like, "Nah, this is club to me.
Yeah.
I want to cipher in the cipher." And and even to this day, even though that I right now I b-boy now, I transferred over to b-boying. You know, like to me, still right now, you would never catch me in a house dancing competition. I did one time with Hugo from France.
Yeah.
You know, here in Houston.
What was that at,
Like,
Hold Down?
At Hold Down, like in 2002 or 2003, me and him did it. You know what I'm saying? But it was like, it felt so weird to me doing that because that's not the way I grew up doing that.
Yeah.
You know, so it was like,
The battles are new to house.
yeah, so it was like all different to me. So like, that's why like now, like when I b-boy and I battle b-boying, I love it.
Yeah,
you know?
the house,
This is
like,
house
like
dance
when
different.
the house cipher, it really
This is my-
the hip hop cipher was more. It was more testosterone. It was more, you know, a battle of who's best, who better. But the house ciphers was more of like a respect. It was more like a showcase.
Yeah.
More than it was a battle. Showcase your style.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
it was
yeah.
a respect. You know,
Yeah.
more almost like in martial arts.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
yeah.
It's like you respect your
Your
can't even call it
opponent.
your opponent. It
Yeah.
was just because it wasn't really a battle. It was just everybody just
Sharing and vibing.
sharing and vibing.
It was a vibe. It was a vibe exchange.
I think a lot of it was though too that, you know, a lot of it from when I was growing up, I can't talk for everybody, but like from when I was growing up, like I wanted to make sure that I looked good doing whatever I did so I could show Sergio, So he could be like, damn, dog, I could tell you've been practicing.
There's
Or
always
like
that one person you want to impress,
And
bro.
that
It's
was the
always
one because
that
he
one
was like
person.
my closest friend
Yeah.
when I was dancing. And it wasn't even Hector no more because I wasn't really hanging out with Hector a whole lot. I was hanging out with Sergio like almost every other day. You know what I'm saying? So I wanted to make sure that Sergio saw me like, oh, I could tell you've been training, dude.
Yeah.
And then not only just him, whenever I would go to Mario's house when we're all there, I want to make sure that they all see me that I've been training, and like Ragland and when we used to hook up with them. But the, you know, like I was gonna say, like to me, like I wanted to make sure that I looked good when I started dancing house a lot. This was the first time that I was gonna meet him. That was my big thing.
Yeah.
When I met him, for one time when they were like Shadow's gonna be there, I was like, I got it.
Yeah, that was a big Mardi Gras, dude. When
Yeah.
Shadow went away, there was, I think the club was the packest it's ever been. Shelter. He came back. Our gear was everybody wore vests. I don't know if he started. I don't know who did them fishing vests. We had like these vests we wear with the big pants.
Oh man.
He came in with his vest, bald head because he shaved his hair. We all had these little mushroom tops. He came in, and it was like, you know,
I
like
actually
you,
remember that.
it felt like you saw a ghost. It was like, it's getting ready to go down, and everybody knew it.
Right.
Where's that circle gonna be? The vest. It was like,
Yo, show it to the camera right there.
Oh,
Yo.
here, there's the vest right there. There it goes right there.
I think I got a picture.
Boy, had to show a picture of him when he was young with hair and everything.
Here's when
Hey,
I was a G.
let's
This
check
is
out.
when I first started housing. So that's how
boy.
we used to look like. Fucking,
Boy, look like
Pretty boy,
one of
like
the
you
actors
by
from
the boy
Lost
band.
Boys. Look, you look like the actor from Lost Boys.
Hey, don't worry about it. I lost my hair, but it's still good.
Yo, let's check out this video. Let's check you. Who's on this video?
So this is the house section part that Rudy put together. You know, it has like Little John, Mario, Ragland, Toby, Abstract. You know,
But
Abstract.
out of you guys, who's on this video?
Me, Ragland, and Toby.
Okay. Well, let's check that out so we can see like the flavor of what was around at that era. You know what I'm saying? Let's play this real quick.
There's me.
Crazy. That's what's up. G.I. Joe.
Joe get
Yeah.
down, boy.
We're gonna be.
Ah,
Yeah.
Joe would
Oh.
get down, boy. Joe was dope.
Man, it's a whole different Joe right there. Ain't the same Joe no more.
There's those white legs, Jinkos.
Yeah. I remember those. Yeah.
Yeah.
By that time, that was
I was ready.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That last one.
Oh
I
boy,
saw,
twinkle toes. You were always light on your feet, bro. I remember that shit. What'd they say?
They're just cracking jokes. So this was, I forgot what club this was, but it was so dope. Like we were all there.
I remember during that time, Joe was dope, but for some reason, now I know the reason why no one would give Joe his props because Joe was so fucking cocky. But I remember I was one of them probably one of the only few that would give Joe his props. Like, yo, you
Yeah.
rock that shit, bro.
But you could not outdance Joe. No matter
Yeah.
what, if you want a fitness that's gonna
Thank you.
go for like 5 hours,
Joe would dance your ass off.
Yeah.
Joe's gonna dance you out of your clothes to some more with
Even
a
now,
towel.
this motherfucker never shuts up. Always wants to dance.
Yeah.
Guys,
And I would smoke like a pack of cigarettes and still want to dance till like 5 o'clock in the morning.
nah, this is dope, man.
Man,
So you,
Ooh, boy, doing a little hip move there, boy.
You're pretty good, Joe.
Joe was
pretty
dope,
good.
bro.
Pretty good.
Joe was super dope.
oh, we forgot.
Where's this?
Little-
Where this
and
is at?
Little-
This is at Hookah Bar, huh?
Yeah, and Little Rick and Big Rick are on this too.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I believe Little Rick's next after this.
I know me and Big Rick used to vibe a lot.
Yeah, Big
we
Rick
used-
was sick.
He was a big.
What-
He influenced me.
Where
So
what
fast
part?
forward a little bit more.
Yeah, what part do you? Who else comes out on this?
Yeah,
Out
Rick,
of you guys?
the-
No, out of you guys.
You don't have to show me. I'm good. I don't like that.
Nah, go to.
You don't like
go-
this video?
Fast forward a little bit.
Man, show that.
If you have any footage of me, I am willing to pay for
Right
it.
here.
Right there?
Someone stole it, made it disappear.
There's Ragland. Ragland Babineau, Peter.
Damn, bro, you look so skinny there.
I was on Weight Watchers.
Man,
Slim fast.
Brandon had
Slim
one of the
fast.
one of the most
No.
like. He had a very authentic style.
Shout out to Slim Fast. I'm looking for sponsorship. I need it.
Funky.
2019 in need.
2019.
He had a very, Ragland style was very unorthodox.
That's dope though, man.
But he was like he was like a jack of all trades.
Yeah.
You know,
And
he danced house, hip hop, break.
That's what I- that's what I miss about-
what Corey did. Oh no, never mind. I'm sorry. Never mind.
Yo, that's dope though, man.
That's
it. That's cool. That's cool. That's cool.
I don't even remember seeing
Man,
that.
that's what I mean. We were so we was influencing all of each other, bro.
Yeah.
I'm
But
sure there was plenty of shit I stole from you. There was shit I stole from you. I stole from everybody.
The people that we going to.
Yeah, right. But like any dance, man. When it doesn't even have to be a crew thing. Like when you go to the club and you dance around each other for so much, you start to get influenced, and you kind of look like each other, but it's also you're different.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But you know we're influenced by each other, and I think that's dope. So what do you think about the new generation? Like, do y'all keep up with videos and battles and stuff?
I do.
Y'all watch?
I see them. I love the house battles. I watch it and it just I can't help but just get a smile on my face and looking like, damn, you know,
like how far it's come
how
and
far it's
evolved.
come and where it is. Like that shit's getting sponsored now.
Yeah.
Like, damn, where was this shit at when I was?
I know. Can I get some royalties off of this?
Like for real.
I'm impressed by the females. I don't know the names. There's a black girl.
Look, I would be open for doing
She's battled at your
historical
event.
I was in Arizona.
workshops.
Oh, from Arizona? Wait.
The ones that came to the last jam y'all had, not this one.
The one before? I mean, there's
Yeah.
a lot of people, bro.
There was a girl.
Maria and Rose.
Yeah, I think it was a
There's
girl
Maria
from
Rose.
Arizona. She had like short hair. She was like real good.
Then there's a Hispanic chick from Houston
Yeah.
that came out of nowhere. I think she's from Northside. Came out of nowhere.
She's
dope.
forget Lil D.
Oh, but shout out to the coldest
Coldest
of our generation.
Coldest.
White girl D.
Blue eyed.
No, but that's
What's her real name?
Go ahead.
D-Han.
Man. She spoke fluent Spanish and she hung around a whole
Man,
bunch of
little-
minorities and was cool with it.
Little
But
short white chick.
the
bro.
dance
She
floor.
could dance house.
Oh
Crazy,
man,
though.
She danced up.
We did
she was like a little version of all of us put together.
that was it.
You
But
see
the
her
last
at
time we
club,
saw her,
you see her at the club, she'd be dancing all the time. You never saw her sitting down
Nope.
or any of that. You know, it was always dancing.
Yeah.
the last time I think
she
we
just-
ciphered, we did the show for Richard Reyes, Color Me.
Poncho Claus?
Yeah, Punch
Yeah.
Claus. It's called it was some racism video we did and we toured. But that was the last time I touched the dance floor with her.
Yeah,
She was
dope,
raw.
bro.
That's crazy. That's good to know because, like, I think to me, I love to watch girls dance house music because I think they can add a certain
Shout out to Chrissy and Melissa from Winos.
Especially on the same level as the dudes, bro. That was like
Yeah.
it was mind blowing to see a chick like really get out there and rock it.
Yeah. But
It was
I
just-
feel like they add a different flavor
Oh,
to
yeah.
the style because they're the feminine, you know.
Because of the feminine, yeah, they added a certain sexiness.
Yeah,
you know,
man,
they added a
it's-
sex appeal to
Maybe
it.
it's just me as a guy, I just like watching girls, but
But
they
it
just
is
add-
because they had their
yeah.
clothes on, but it was still sexy.
Besides,
Yeah.
besides D, like the first girl, like you know, it was D and it was Laurie, you know, dancing back then. You know, we didn't have a whole bunch of girls back
Chucky.
then dancing and Chucky,
Cubana.
and what's her name? They used to dance house too. They used to go to Rich's a lot.
Peggy,
Not Peggy. That sings.
Karina.
Karina?
Like
Oh,
Karina,
Karina's
like
style.
Karina, like
Yeah.
Karina used to dance really good too, house. But I guess the girls that when I seen dancing house that was like to another level was when I was in New York at Shelter.
Oh man,
When I was at Shelter in New York, I was like, man, almost every girl here like dances
Yeah.
unbelievable here.
Yeah.
like you know, like
Yeah.
they're all good.
Yeah,
and
I
I was
rem-
like,
I- yeah.
I was tripping when I went.
yeah.
there.
When I went to that
man.
East Coast, bro, I remember when I was in Jersey, because like I was saying when we was talking earlier, the only way you can hear good house music here in Houston was to either go to a predominantly, white establishment or what we call then mixed clubs, or you know a gay club. So that's what I was used to.
Riches.
Yeah. So when I went up to New Jersey, when I was stationed up there when I was in the military, I remember going to I was in Asbury Park, which is where Bruce Springsteen is from. That's his hometown. There was a club that he used to perform at that I actually went at called the Headquarters. Well, I actually first saw a Tribe Called Quest at. But I used to go to this club. I remember the first time I went, and I was standing outside, and you could hear
The music.
you know. And I walked in, and I'm talking about culture shock.
Yeah.
Nothing
Definitely.
but black people.
Definitely.
I was like, what the fuck?
And what's crazy is because like when the first time I went, it was like the club heads were different from the battle dancers.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And you have the famous dancers that do all the fancy move, but you see all the club heads that are dancing, you're like, man, this is crazy. I wish we had this shit back home.
Right.
And it's like you want to just dance, and you dance with somebody over here, then you're dancing with
Yeah.
somebody over there, and it's like it's a whole different feeling, you know.
But
And it's like
but-
Joe said, and I seen some dope females up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing was, you know, in the early 90s, you know what I'm saying? You could go to a club, any club, and you would see that everywhere dancing. You know, but when it started transferring over and kind of dying down was like the early 2000s. That's kind of like when Shadow went away.
Yeah.
You know, Ragland kind of stopped dancing and it stayed to me and Toby. And then some of us kept dancing, you know, Mario, everybody, we were dancing. But then everything started transferring over to b-boying. And that's
Yeah.
when the house scene here in Houston was kind of like, you only seen like Steven,
Steven,
you know,
Rick,
you
Mono.
know, Steven, Mono, you know, and what's his
Noel.
name? No, not Weddle. What's the other guy's name? You
No.
said his name earlier.
Leandre?
No, you said his name. We were talking about it outside earlier. What the he's hanging around Noel.
Noel.
You
That's
know,
what I said,
Noel. Yeah, Noel. You know, Noel, and then y'all kept it up.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
and it was like, and Big Rick. I mean, not Big Rick.
And we kept it up, but we kept it up in the clubs. You know what I'm saying?
No, y'all did, but I'm
Yeah.
saying, but y'all were like the only ones that were actually keeping it, you know, keeping it real, and y'all kept it going.
Yeah.
Because I remember they used to talk mess to me because they're like, "Why'd you stop dancing house for?" You know, and I was
Yeah.
like, "There's nobody dancing house no more."
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah, you used to tell me that shit all the time.
Yeah, I was like, nobody's dancing
I
no
think
more.
in Houston there was a period where like the
It-
clubs kind of died down.
Yeah, the clubs
There's
died
a lot
down.
of clubs that closed down. We were
Yeah.
just talking about that.
And then the b-boy scene was big.
But I think for like house dance in general and house music, there was a period, a couple of years where there weren't really that many parties for us to go to.
Yeah,
It was
and
like
that's
once a month or
and that's what I'm
something like
saying. Y'all kept it real because y'all would go out and like, you know, and still be there. Because I remember it was a group of y'all, like
Yeah.
probably be like 8 of y'all there, and I walk in, you know, sitting there. And I'm like, and y'all people would be dancing. The house is like, oh, they're whack.
And then on top of that, some of the clubs didn't like dancers.
Nah, they
No.
didn't.
Yeah.
They didn't.
And it's
So
like
they
now,
would
like
break it up. you
Like
know?
nowadays, you can't like it's not like the way it used to be. You go to a club and you can go sit there in the corner and you start vibing, you start having a circle. Nowadays, they're like they don't like that now.
Nah.
You know, it's like when I see it's like
We're
when we go to-
we're barely getting the club scene used to seeing dancers in the clubs. You know what I'm saying? Because
Even
before,
to this day,
yeah,
like,
even to this
last
day,
week I had a party, and one of the managers came up to me and told me to
Change it.
go talk to
Nah,
the dancers to
to-
make the
to-
circle
to make the
smaller.
circle
And
smaller.
I get it. You know, you got people that are paying to enjoy
yeah.
some music.
what they don't understand
but
is people enjoy watching.
we have to
Yeah.
share.
Friends of
We have to
friends. That
share
too.
the
Dancers
space.
have never been paid.
That
to
too, but
entertain
it's
we have
because-
to share
in
the
the club.
space.
But there's people who complain because they feel like, well, the dance floor is for everybody, and I'm like, but you ain't even dancing. You're over there watching the DJ.
That's
It's
kind of
like-
how I feel. Like if you're not at a hip hop club or at a let's just say a b-boy jam,
Yeah.
like you can't go into a club right now and just start b-boying.
Nah.
Because they don't. People are like, man, what are you doing? Like it
Yeah.
doesn't feel like the way it used to feel when we used to go into clubs. We had that feeling. Oh, I'm gonna start dancing, start
Yeah.
grooving.
Stalin did it.
You know, yeah, we
We didn't care. I don't care. It got to the point where we came so much. As those clubs would stop us from dancing, we didn't stop. We keep going anyway.
Yeah.
Even to the point where they could kick us out. And it got to the point where we would come back so much, they just like, you know what, just
We had a following,
they just
dude.
let us do
Some
it.
of those people came in there to see us.
just to
So,
see us.
Yeah.
you know, it was damn
Yeah.
near. You should have put us on salary.
Yeah, no, it's definitely still a fight that we have to, you know, we're trying to implement and push to bridge the gap between house heads, just house music heads, and then the house dancers, you know. But there's people who are in the community that are DJs and house heads that are starting to appreciate what we do, especially because of Blueprint, because they see all the DJs and they see all the dancers come out, and everybody dancing. They're like, oh damn, this is dope. It's like, man, this is what we try to do, but y'all don't let us, you know. But I think it's bridging that gap little by little. Hopefully it stays there, but you know, times change.
As far as me, like you were asking earlier, as far as me is like as the respect part of the dance now, as far as like let's take it back to the popping house,
Yeah.
and the way people are dancing to hip hop now, because that's how you're breaking it off now.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like the way we were going over freestyle. You
Yeah.
do everything. So now it's like you got b-boys, pop lockers, poppers, house dancers,
Crumpers.
and hip hop and crumpers.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like as me is respect, I give those cats all respect. You know, I do. I give them all respect, you know, because they're keeping it real. They're doing their own dance. You know, they're staying true to their roots.
At the end of the day, it's also what it's all about, is being true to yourself.
You know, I'm not gonna, you know, but it's different from when I was growing up.
Yeah.
You know, so like when I danced hip hop, it was totally different from me looking at the way people dance hip hop
for
now.
sure.
You know, I can't, like, you can't get me, not that I can't, but you can't sit there and get me to dance to a Nicki Minaj song, a hip hop. Like I see at these clubs.
Yeah.
I went to a jam one day and everybody was dancing hip hop and they're dancing to like a Nicki Minaj song with Lil Wayne and all that in it. I'm not gonna dance to that.
The times change, bro.
Yeah, so you're right. Time has changed, but I gotta respect it.
But
though.
the thing is that like, let's say you were a hip hop dancer and you kept up with it throughout the generations, your dance would evolve with the music as you stayed with it. But if you stop and then you come back 10 years later and it's a whole different sound, a whole different style, you're like, I don't feel this. But that's how I feel because
go ahead.
And I know Joe never dipped in this part of it, but when you call yourself a professional dancer, meaning that when you start getting paid, you change, you dance to whatever you got to. Being one of the first members of Fly Dance Company, people talk down on us. We started as a 3-man crew, and now it's like 20. We danced to jazz, we danced to classical, we didn't dance to music at times. We made our own music. We had music in our head. So and if you think about it, again, I go back, we're all connected to the rhythm, bro. The rhythm of the drum. Me personally, as an individual, Ragland, speaking, winos, Havoc Choral, your heartbeat is a drum.
Yeah.
And the heartbeat is how you share love.
Yeah,
so when you bring people in a cipher, you bring people in a circle, it's about love or it's about competition. At the end of the day, both of y'all love to dance.
Yeah.
But I got to go back to what you're saying. You know, like as far as house dancing, like I loved house dancing from the time that I started. You know what I'm saying? I loved it. Always, even the music.
I can even go as far as to say I love dancing the house more than I did hip hop.
Yeah, you know,
and I'm a hip hop head.
And so like,
I love hip hop.
But what you were saying is
a big
because of
boy.
the house, like
got into house
hip hop. I've been following hip hop forever, dancing hip hop still because I loved it so much. You know what I'm saying? That's like even when I b-boy now, you know, I try to dance hip hop on my tops.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I know that I can't sit there and do a loose leg and drop down to the ground and do 6-step.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
Yeah.
So me, as far as hip hop, yes, I have been following the music. You know, I respect the new style of music. Hip hop, I do to the fullest.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But to me, I like the underground hip hop.
Yeah.
And that's what
I
I've been
do too.
following.
Yeah.
You know, and that's like me, I follow that to the fullest. And
Right.
as far as like that dancing style, you know, it's gonna be from what I learned.
Yeah.
You know, and I have got influence from all my brothers, you know, and from Havoc Choral, Warehouse. You know, I got to give respect to them because that's where I learned it all from.
Right, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I got to give mad respect to my family.
Yeah.
You know, and to the record shop in Brooklyn guys.
Yeah.
Because that's what they showed us.
Yeah.
I know,
You know,
for
mad respect.
Yeah.
For me, as far as the whole new sound, not just with the new dance, just the whole new generation period when it comes to the dance and the music that comes along with it. My look at it is I respect it. I like I guess, you know, even though in the music the message may be different, you know,
The sounds may be
the
different.
sounds different, you know, the content, it may not be much lyrical content there, but I understand it.
Yeah.
I get the energy because I'm a music producer.
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
I transitioned over into to making beats and stuff. So I get it. I understand it. You know, so I respect it. It's a different energy. You know, because I remember us being the youth and probably not of the people who are at our age that we are now. Then probably didn't understand what we were doing or respect it or, you know. But you know, so I get it.
I think the respect also, you know, respect to the four founders of hip hop, you know, New York or wherever it was. I do believe that there's respect in whatever city you are for the heads that started it at your time.
Right.
Because I recall us going to an event, 2000, 2001, B-Boy City.
Mm.
City or B-Boy Summit?
B-Boy Summit, UCLA
Summit
campus.
in Cali. We drove to LA.
And, you know, it was a B-Boy event. You know, there was pop lockers in the corner. There's housers. There's these Vogers. There's these dudes that weren't even dancing to the music. They were just doing this ticking stuff. And
Yeah.
But the battle was between
Animation.
California and New York. There was a beef. And I'm like, dude, we're here. They don't know nothing about Texas.
Yeah, exactly.
Freestyle dancing, whatever y'all want to call it.
Yeah.
No 6-step, no names of terminology, a house, none of the stuff that we're doing.
It's more of
What
a
are they
raw-
going to think
it was
about
a
us?
raw
So
feeling.
I was intimidating.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I was confident because I was confident about where I come from and what I did. So at the end of all that battle, they had a big old battle, big thing. Camille was a big thing back there.
Remind.
Remind was big. Mr. Wiggles.
Flowmasters.
Was dope. But at the end of that battle, people were like, "Who the hell are y'all? Y'all kind of look. Y'all are standoffish a little bit." So at the end of the circle, at the end of that, before the event was over, Exhibit was there. I mean, it was a dope event. They opened up a big old circle, and it was like, y'all versus us. And California came at us with voguing. What is this stuff that people do
Whacking.
now? Whacking. I just did that naturally. I didn't know there was a name for it. Wow. But there's a whacking group.
What's whacking?
There's a whacking group. Oh, and they fall to the ground with their leg. Boom. Oh. But they had a crew of these people that did that at us at the end of the day, and I had a chance to just give them Texas. And I think at some point, just like Style Elements, what made Style Elements blow up, respect to these dudes, was that they challenged the rules.
Yeah.
And they made them outrageous. Shout out to Remind, Crumbs. But that's what we did to them, showing them that. They showed us that we were on horses. They thought we were on horses and boots. I like, hey, I rock boots.
That's what they thought about me when I went to New York.
Where
I
the
think
other?
Houston's kind of stuck.
Yeah, where the
in
horses
middle.
at, and you know.
Houston's been stuck in the middle, like Texas in general. So like we're kind of like a mixture of like West Coast and East Coast.
Yeah.
And we get forgotten sometimes, you know.
And now that you're saying
Big as
that,
we are.
when I went to New York and I was at Shelter, and I remember I was talking to Brooklyn Terry, Elite Force. We're all standing by the speaker, and they're like, "Where you from?" And I was like, "I'm from Texas." He's like, "Y'all dance down there?"
Texas.
Yeah.
Come from
He's like,
Texas.
yeah, he goes,
Where's your tobacco?
He goes, y'all dance? He goes, y'all house dance over there? And I was like, yeah, man. He's like, I thought y'all were just about horses and cowboys and stuff out there. I was like, nah, man. And that's like, to me, you know.
Well, Houston. Let's say that.
Yeah, Houston.
Don't
Because
go
they were,
to Waco.
they were like,
to
man,
Jasper.
they were giving us like mad respect. They were giving us like, man, I'm so glad that y'all dance down there, you know. And that's why I'm like what you were saying, you know, because a lot of people didn't think that we danced here.
No.
You know, and that goes back to like until we started driving to Austin to go battle over there in Austin. And that's when we met Romeo.
Oh,
CBS.
shout out to Austin. Austin,
Yeah.
dudes.
Shout out to Austin, Romeo, you know,
B-Boy
Buck Raj,
City.
Rudy, David,
Man, the
all
thing is,
those
Texas
guys.
is
Jonathan
so big,
Jacob,
it's kinda
Jerome.
it's kind of its own community. Texas is so big that
Yeah.
all of the major cities, we all go to each other's events, and it's kind of like we all support each other, and it's kind of like its own little entity outside of the
Absolutely.
real
Bro,
world.
I remember I was in the lowrider scene. Shout out to my Aztec Image crew. But there was a big
Man,
there's a
what's
big
that?
event.
Image.
He
There's
had a
big
Ragland truck doll.
Oh, tell him about it.
His truck.
With the matching tattoo. Shut up. We went to a big event, dude. If you're a producer and we're all from the hood, if you think about Dallas, no, not about that. If you think about Dallas, you think about a certain type of music they call freestyle music.
Yeah.
Show me.
Now
yeah,
San
yeah.
Antonio more actually.
That was-
Yeah,
that
San
was San
Antonio too.
Antonio too.
San
San
Antonio
It was a
was big
lowrider
about
thing.
that.
It was a
Yes.
big lowrider thing.
Yeah.
But they had an event there, and I think it was Lil Susie. I don't want to call her out, but one of those artists who were performing, and we battled Dallas, and we made the biggest circle, dude, and messed her up on her performance. And she was like, "Hey, can y'all stop that? Can y'all quit? I'm over here performing. Da da da." Gave us a big old lowdown, but we battled like crazy because Dallas, they weren't used to seeing us dance,
But
and we weren't used to seeing them.
Didn't you meet Hito and Brian Green at a lowrider show?
No, it was a lowrider show. It was a lowrider show, but they were performing for Maya. Maya was there performing,
Yeah.
and they were their backup dancers.
Oh,
so
okay,
that's
okay.
when we had a big old cipher. All of us, Houston was there. We're all dancing, and then Brian Green, and then we're there, and that's when Brian Green had told me, "Man, you dance pretty good." And I didn't believe that was him because he had cut his dreads off.
Oh yeah.
And he was bald headed. He showed me his ID, and then he introduced me to Hito, and then we went to Rich's on Thursday. So it was like,
You invited him there?
huh?
You invited
Yeah, I
them
told them because they were like, "Could we go dance house tonight?" I was like, well, "Yeah," but I already knew their house was gonna be different than our house.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
What did he tell you whenever he heard all the music?
You want me to tell you the truth?
Yeah. Same.
He told me it was trash. Yeah, seriously. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie.
Shout out to Houston DJs.
Hey, Brian Green.
Hey.
No, but
That's cold, bro.
It was a different sound. It was a different sound for us.
Yeah, so it was like I remember him telling me when me and Toby had drove him back to me and Toby drove him and Hito back to his hotel, and he was saying, he's like, "Man, how do y'all dance to that rave music? It's like trash." And I'm like, what? They were playing "Give It Up." What are you talking about?
It was like
So
progressive
it was
house.
Yeah, it was
Give it
progressive
up.
house.
Progressive
Back then,
yeah. So
that
it
was
was like,
the-
so
I thought progressive house was
House.
Was house.
No,
Yeah.
no, but they were. But see,
We didn't
Dissect
John
it.
just cut house music up into different sections. It was either house music
Or techno. Yeah, the Wreck and Shop video. Like when did y'all get a hold of it, and how did that influence y'all? Like, how did that change your style?
Let me speak on Winos. We didn't get the video. We didn't have it.
Okay.
And
Did you even watch it on PBS when it came out?
didn't watch it on
I can
PBS.
see-
we didn't watch it
never
on.
on PBS.
I remember when
There
Mario-
was. It
It
was
was,
on.
It was- that's-
but that's not how we got it. We
Yeah,
got it
yeah,
from
yeah,
videotape.
Originally,
Well,
when it
yeah,
came
it
The
was
out,
original,
it was
the
on PBS.
original was a PBS special.
Yeah.
I don't know who recorded it, but somebody in Houston recorded it. I remember seeing it. I remember first watching it at Mario's. I remember me and Mario. I used to go to Mario's house and watch. That's what I remember us watching anything that had any kind of sliver of hip hop dancing in it. And when he showed me that, I was just like, "Oh my god!" Because I had never seen anything, any kind of documentary, anything that long showing hip hop dance, and it was just like it was like the holy grail.
Yeah.
It was like we just discovered. It was like having gold. You know
Because
what
I mean,
I'm saying?
I never knew nothing about it. You know what I'm saying? Until like later, as far as like, because I was a b-boy, bro. I was a b-boy till like, I don't know,
I think-
2006.
And
But
I think for us, that's what gave us our edge because we
Yeah.
had that.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But there was nothing before that.
Because when I used to go to the clubs, I mean, the first time I ever danced to house music or was introduced to it was at Club X's in South Houston, and
That's where I battled Nat.
Oh wow!
yeah,
I battled Nat there in
and
90s.
and we entered the competition. Me, my friend Fabian, and somebody else from like I think it was a crew called House of Styles. And we entered
Yeah.
and we just freestyled it, you know what I'm saying? I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I was just dancing to the beat, you know what I'm
just
saying?
danced to the beat.
And even up till when I started to get more serious about it, my whole style was just very like salsa. I use a lot of my hips and shit. It looked weird as fuck. But that's how I enjoyed the dance, you know. But then it was whenever I got introduced to the New York style and basics and everything else and foundation that my style changed. But I never knew about the video until after I started dancing.
We
Yeah,
got it.
I would say those guys were our. I had to say those guys were our teachers. They helped us. They elevated us.
Yeah, we got it. I got it like in 90, I want to say like 94, 95. And I got it from Sergio. Because Sergio had it and he introduced me to it. So then that's when we had it for a while. And then we went to Mario's house. And that's when we started watching it. Like around that time. We used to watch it every time before we practice dancing in Mario's room.
Yeah.
Every time we watched the whole thing. And our favorite part was at the end when they're in the club. Or I can't remember his name. The one that the one that had the leather jacket. That was popping real good. He had the dreads like up.
How about that remix?
When he's
that
down the stairs.
When that remix
Yeah,
came
P-Rock,
out.
the
that
P-Rock remix. Nah, but he was the one that was dancing. He was the one dancing down the stairs.
Yeah.
That was.
I
can't remember his name, but
Have you seen
anyways.
it? Have you
Let's
seen
just say
Yeah, I've
peace
seen
to
segments,
Khalif, Buddha Stretch.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro, yeah.
Yeah, but that's
Bro.
Mop
when we
tops.
got the
Yeah,
video.
mop tops.
So they showed that video right there. and
Misfits.
introduced us to a lot of that.
Yeah, big
whole-
props to the Mop Tops, man.
Top,
yeah.
We were hugely influenced. I know for me, East Coast, just the whole East Coast culture, hip hop, was a big influence on me. I wasn't into anything Southern. If I couldn't dance to it, or just vibe to it, I wasn't feeling it. I remember the first group from out the South that I actually liked was Ghetto Boys and Outkast. Those were the only Southern groups I liked.
Yeah.
Because they were hip hop, you know. So, but yeah, man, that Wreck and Shop tape. Yeah, it changed everything. It changed the game for us.
Yeah, Rubber Band. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, Rubber Band.
Rubber
yeah,
Band.
yeah.
That was the guy that, like, to us when we'd watch the video, like, that was the one that caught all our eyes, was Rubber Band.
Not for me. I mean, it
For
caught
me.
the one who caught my eyes was Ejo. That was the one. He went up on his toes. He did some shit like that. And he kicked out. And he hit on his knee. And
That was Ejo.
Oh, that was the club footage.
I was like,
Club footage?
yeah. I was just like,
Nah, to this day, he's still smooth.
I emulate because
still
that was my
smooth.
style. I always gravitated towards smoothness because I
Yeah.
never wanted to be like all jittery,
Hard,
and
yeah.
you know, choppy looking. I wanted my shit to
I
be
like
smooth.
both. I like both, but when that's the like that's his thing, like being smooth and
Smooth.
finesse.
Yes.
Like makes it look so
Yes.
clean and easy.
effortless.
The one that caught my eye the most out of all of them was Rubber Band. Like, Rubber Band was like, he was legit, like the whole time, you know, like.
Yeah.
But and then Ejo was on there dancing house.
Yeah.
In the studio, and he's teaching that little dude, that little kid.
That's what I was getting ready to say. Somebody told me whatever happened to that little dude, and who is he? And he's probably
somebody had
raw as
told
hell
me-
right now.
I forgot somebody.
Who's
it
that
came
little
down and
kid?
he
What's his
was-
name?
not
Shah?
sure.
Shah. It was Shah.
With Shah?
Yeah.
Shah.
Little
See,
Shah.
I'm not familiar with the video, but Shah. Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about a different Shah, but yeah,
No,
I
it
think
was Little Shah.
I think I've heard them talk about him, and they said they don't know where he is. They haven't-
Man, I was like, man, that little kid got to be
And-
dope as fuck. the people that he was around,
Yeah.
his influence.
Yeah.
And
God.
the guy that was in the club with the dreads from the record shop in Brooklyn, that was the one that was here at your jam,
You talking about Khalif?
Khalif.
Yeah, Khalif.
The one that
man.
had the dreads to here, because I remember he was killing it in the cypher.
No, man. And the thing about them, they're good people, man. Like we've networked with them through Blueprint and through mutual friends, and we've gotten to know them too. And when you get to know them on a personal level, man, they're just like us. And that's why they're cool with us, because we treat them like they're like their family, and they are family to me, man. So peace to them, man. Shout out to them and Mop Top and Dance Fusion and everybody else.
I'm honored to say that those were my teachers.
Yeah.
Yeah, not all of us. I'm gonna speak for myself. Them too, like they showed me
For me,
a
definitely
whole
was,
lot of that.
yeah.
Not showed me, but like I watched that video,
Absolutely.
and it like made me study that video all the time. And then as far as our crew too,
Yeah.
we picked it all up. We started doing it. So yeah.
Yeah.
Huge influence on our crew. Huge influence on at that time this dance scene period. The people who
We
had
didn't have the opportunity to go take class or
actually
Nah, we
absolutely.
fly
didn't.
out somewhere and take their class.
Like when it's kind of like what you said. It's kind of like when we saw Ejo. We didn't know that was house dancing.
Yeah.
We didn't. We were just looking at it like, damn, that dude's bad.
Yeah.
But all we knew that they had a faster beat playing
Yeah.
in that studio. So we're like, man, what is he listening to? We would be like, but it was house. And so when I went to New York with Brian in '97, I was like, damn, these dudes are going crazy to this music, because I was in Newark. That's why I stayed in Jersey, in Newark.
Jersey love.
Yeah, and so we went to all the warehouse. We didn't even go to Shelter yet. We were going to all the warehouse parties, and that's where like everybody was there dancing. And then the Saturdays when we went to Shelter, so that's when like everybody was there, like Shannon, Ejo, Brian, Hito was there. They were all.
Yeah, he
there.
lived in New York for a long time.
Yeah, he lived. Well, this is before he lived there.
Oh shit.
He was just there
Okay.
visiting with his
Okay,
wife or
okay.
his girlfriend at that time.
All right.
And then but it was like that's how I met them. Like I met Brooklyn Terry, Elite Force. That's what they were called back then. They're I don't know if they're still around, but it was Elite Force.
Yeah, they're still around.
It was that's who we met when I went over there. So it was it was dope when we got to see him.
That's what's up, man. So, what are you guys doing now? Like, where y'all at in life?
For me, for the past 20 years, when I stopped dancing, and I left the Rockets, stopped dancing for the Rockets in the Comets, I started producing music. I started producing, making beats. I've been doing that since '98.
Back up. 2001, me and this dude collaborated and we put an album out. Went on tour with Yin Yang Twins. Went on tour with T.I. Went on tour with Black Eyed Peas. We did the music thing.
Yeah, forgot about that.
What was this?
Oh, this was
Southern Intellect.
I had no idea about this. What?
Yeah, Southern Intellect. Look it up, Southern Intellect. Yeah, we had a hip hop album that we did, but I kept
that's
on.
crazy.
I kept making beats from that, and I worked with a lot of Houston artists, SUC artists, Pokey, Hawk, Kiati,
That's what's
Little
up, man.
O. So it's something I still do now. Along with now, I got into visuals and doing videos. So,
I still jam screw.
but I still every
this
now and
day.
then, man, I hear house music and I still feel that itch.
Yeah,
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know.
Like that heroin itch,
Yeah.
that I guess that's the best way to describe it. I never done heroin,
Especially when
but,
you haven't danced in a long
but
time.
when you haven't done it and you are in your soul, your core, you're a
Ragland
dancer,
won't do it.
You yeah. So I'm ready for a good jam session.
Yeah.
Oh no.
He knows what I'm talking about.
Back to the question. Me, man, I'm a family dude, man. Been married 17 years. Been working at the same job for going on 17 years. Was blessed by my job because of my talent, and I actually performed in my job before I had the opportunity to go and service
What
the
do you do?
youth. I'd prefer not say because of
Alright.
the way this interview went, but I work with the youth
Okay. That's cool.
on the law enforcement side.
Got you.
But other than that, what I do, right now, dude, y'all can laugh at me. I'm giving this up to Joe. I love planting stuff. You go to my backyard, I have freaking mint,
Dang.
oregano.
Wait,
I have okra.
Joe got
I
you
have.
into this?
No, he didn't. He talks
Oh.
about me every time I go. What are you doing?
Okay,
I was like,
okay,
"What are you
okay.
doing? Sweating your old ass out in the garage?" And he's like,
okay.
"Yeah, I'm sweating." I was like, well, dude, I'm out here
Hey,
planting
man.
these tomatoes.
That's what makes
So-
you happy, you know. And you get older in life, you got different priorities, you know.
Oh
It's,
yeah, for sure.
no. Yeah, you got into. Hey,
Somebody
hey,
got to eat.
I gotta water my plants. I ain't got a garden, but if they don't get watered, they're gonna die.
They're gonna die.
So-
but that's it, man. Looking towards
Yeah.
retirement. That's it.
What about you, Joe? What are you doing now?
Me
Thinking you're a dope b-boy.
Dreaming.
Dreaming.
Nah, I just
Wish it
mean,
upon a
just-
star.
I've been married for 8 years. Take care of my son. Still dancing.
Yeah.
I mean, more of a b-boy now. And I represent the brothers.
Mm.
So just breaking, just
That's what's up.
living life and just taking care of my family.
Yeah.
So that's it.
You all plan to come out more once, you know what I'm saying? Like if we tell y'all when there's a party coming
man.
down.
For sure. I love being invited because I don't step out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't get out, and if I get out to an event that I know that has my vibe,
Yeah.
I can enjoy it.
They ain't gonna plant. They're not gonna plant no garden there.
Hey,
Okay, you can plant your butt in the club and listen to the music.
I know.
I'm bring some Joe seeds.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I definitely will come out. I've been wanting to get to a good house jam, so I'll come out.
That's what's up.
I'm actually
I'll
even
stay in
I'm thinking.
contact.
I'm actually thinking about getting back into it. You know, start practicing again and just
Yeah.
coming to more events. You know,
That's what's
come
up.
around. I still love it.
If y'all, y'all have social media?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Negative.
Negative.
yeah.
I've gained my life back.
Yeah.
At Shadow Black 713 is my Instagram.
All right. Well, you gotta follow Noe because this guy is the main DJ
I follow
guy.
him already.
Okay.
Yeah, we follow.
But
I'll
when-
invite y'all to
yeah.
the jams,
All right.
Yeah.
like that, the parties. And stuff.
Yeah.
All right.
Because usually where he's playing at is where all the dancers are gonna be at.
Just like last night.
Yeah, like last night.
And so
Didn't get
you
home till
still
like 4
didn't tell
o'clock
me,
in the
huh?
morning.
Well, it's because I didn't.
I wanted you to make it to the podcast, fool.
Yeah. I didn't think that
Oh, the alley
you were
cat,
gonna come
yeah.
out during the week. You know.
Bro, all I do is make beats, and that's it. So I don't have a schedule.
Okay.
If y'all have the energy, I'm playing an after-hours party tonight, 3 o'clock in the morning.
Oh.
Till about 5 o'clock in the morning.
Ragland will be there.
Hey.
I'll be there.
I probably won't be there. Let me know when y'all doing
Joe,
something.
With my tomatoes.
Joe's gonna be there.
Yeah, right.
You going?
No, I'll be.
What happened?
I'll be in my
I thought
sleep.
you were the chief rocker.
Always, baby.
Nah,
Cheating it
it's still hard even for me. You know what I'm saying? Like
There's
I don't
parties
even
all
have.
the time, man.
I don't got no
Just gotta
kids, and
stay-
it's still hard
As long
for me.
as you're
you know?
connected with somebody and you got the invite, you're in the know.
All right. Well, I definitely would. I would love to be invited to the next regular time.
Yeah.
Regular
Yeah,
hour,
man.
regular club
Well,
hours.
he DJs every Thursday at the Alley Cat.
Yeah.
That's the name of the place, and it's
His
his
house?
house.
Yeah, his
at
house.
night upstairs
Every Thursday.
every Thursday.
I think you'll like that spot more because they play it more soulful
Is
than it is.
the dancers come out?
Last night, there's about 10 of them.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
but it's
When we gonna go next Thursday?
Next Thursday, let's go.
No
It's
bullshit.
hip hop downstairs, all
Who's playing
vinyl.
downstairs?
Waxaholics.
yeah, Waxaholics.
And upstairs is house.
It's me
Yeah.
and 2 other dudes. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we're gonna be there next Thursday.
No cover.
Shout out to the new generation, man. One thing is if y'all don't believe in the past, y'all are still evolving. Y'all are still going on.
Yeah,
And whatever it takes to make it get to the level where Texas is respected, from me to you and whatever I've ever done, if it ain't nothing, keep pushing.
that's what's up, man.
Absolutely.
Y'all want to say any last words? Anything? Y'all want to make a shout
Oh.
out? You know,
My last words, man. Just
you know,
man,
people that have passed. Anything? Loved ones.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Nat. Rest in peace, Icky. Rest in peace, Ross.
For me, I just want to say, man, just
Sonny Galore.
do your whatever is your passions is, just do it. Pursue your dreams. You know, set your goals. Just live life. Don't conform to any type of. Don't conform to anything. Just live your life. Live your truth.
I just want to give mad love to the new generation. Just keep doing what you're doing. Mad respect. Just keep pushing.
Yeah,
just
that's
keep
what's up,
pushing
man.
it. You know, mad love to all the people that from our history that's
Absolutely.
passed. You know, God bless them, and you know,
Yeah,
just want to live.
yeah. You got anything you want to say?
I think we covered it all.
Yeah, I think we did cover a lot of it, man. So if y'all ever see these guys out in the clubs or anywhere, man, y'all should talk to these guys. You know, you don't just talk to them, get to know them, man. Hear their history. You know, there's a lot of other stuff that been going on behind the scenes that ain't put on camera.
Man.
But you know what I'm saying. But yeah, man, I got a lot of respect for these guys. You know, again, I was a b-boy
Thank you.
back then,
Thank
but
you.
I used to see
Same,
these guys in the
likewise.
club and a lot of respect.
Appreciate it. Thanks for the platform. Thanks for the opportunity, man.
Yeah, man, for sure.
Hey,
man.
thank y'all.
you.
Thanks.
Yeah, and this
Nothing
is
but
just
love.
definitely the first of many to come. You know, we're gonna
For
try to
sure.
get some more people on here.
Oh, cool.
Possibly get some DJs, maybe some old school DJs.
Oh,
Work
man,
it out.
dope.
Yeah,
Some of
that'd be
those
sick.
some of those DJs from Richmond.
Joe B.
those,
Joe B. Psychedelic
Joby,
B boy.
Jabril, Comp One.
Comp
Yeah.
One.
That'd
Shout
be
out to
dope to
Comp
get some of
One.
those guys input on the history too.
Kool-Aid.
DJ Kool-Aid.
Nice.
Frosty Ice. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be dope, man.
DJ Frosty Ice.
The Silly Suckers. I mean, I'm gonna show y'all a flyer here in a minute. Y'all ain't gonna believe it. Chicken George from Austin.
The Asian.
Are you talking about Cracker Nuts?
Oh, Crack Nuts. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's a
Action Kid.
Action Kid.
Yeah.
I think
Northside.
damn.
Ish.
True, yeah.
Ish.
Ish.
Oh,
Yeah.
JD Arnold.
Damn.
From Riches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's that.
See, I think there's a
Superman from the North
Baddest
Side.
house DJs, bro. JD Arnold.
this is definitely
dance all
a
night.
platform
Frosty Ice.
to put everything on. You
I
know?
said it.
All right, guys. Well,
DJC.
this is a good finish
Witness.
to the first podcast. I want to appreciate, say thank you for you guys coming on.
Thanks for inviting
Thanks a
me.
lot for having us.
Yeah, for sure.
I think it went well, man.
Shout out to everybody that's helped out.
Thank y'all.
Francois,
Dreads in the house.
Andre,
Andre.
Steven, Johnny.
He got dreads though.
Steven.
Yeah.
Assorted flavors in the house, y'all.
Yeah.
Representing
Don't
you.
even start,
Have a
boy.
great-
Don't even start.
Can we cut this part?
Yeah.
Joe,
Shout
with
out
that
to my
microphone
crew,
up to
Jungle Brothers,
Yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
brothers.
All right, yo, peace.
Peace.